What's going on, everyone? We are back with another video. Today we're not doing a player profile necessarily, but I am doing a follow-up, I guess, to my tight end strategy that went, I guess you call viral last year. Probably my most viral post on the shorts outlets was my bold claim to punt the tight ends. And really wasn't that bold of a claim. The one tight end, there was a few tight ends that I have locked on to the back end of last year. Guys like Rondé Gatson, I ended up liking that rookie in Seattle who didn't do anything last year. I liked him too. Theo Johnson at the Giants, he was bad. There's a few other guys that we were locked into. They were just kind of like okay streamlined tight ends. But the big tight end last year, I said there is no point. I remember saying this last year. I don't think this made it to the shorts, but I remember saying in one of the videos last year. And I guess I'm dragging it, but I said take Juwan Johnson round 18 over Brock Bowers round 1, round 2, and I'd just say I'd much rather do that. And guess what? The 11th ranked tight end last year, points wise, was Brock Bowers, and I know Brock Bowers got hurt. Okay, so I'm not going to fault him for that. But at the end of the day, he was the 11th ranked tight end. Juwan Johnson was the 10th ranked tight end in points. So Juwan Johnson ended up beating him outright in points and kind of proved my point. No pun intended. But I was pretty big on that. Fannin was another guy, I liked. I wasn't, hammering, but Juwan Johnson, he was my most exposed best ball player last year. And there was a lot of my teams that ended up making it were, due to him, just getting him in the 18th round and just totally not worrying about tight end. He ended up being enough to cover that void. And then I just invested enough capital in my other positions to where I didn't have, the league winners, which is why I didn't, win the best ball mania, of course. But, I had just solid players all around, just because I had so much draft capital in other positions and I didn't put any draft capital in the tight ends. There was drafts last year where I literally did the first 14 rounds no tight end, and I went tight end for my 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th round picks. I haven't done that this year. Okay, so move on. We flip to 2026. This year, I am still anti-drafting the top tight ends. Now, I do have, these guys. The guys that are not checked are guys that I don't have on my draft board, which you can find linked down below on my Patreon, Showtime FF Fantasy. Get yourself the draft board, the draft guide, and basically have me sitting right by your side as if I'm in your ear telling you who to pick. And that's basically what you get on paper. And then some other perks as well. But link in the bio if you're interested. But so the guys that are not checked on this list are guys that aren't on my board, but I'm not going to show you my board, of course. But these top tight ends, I really don't have much exposure of. I actually picked Brock Bowers for the first time the other day. I probably have one or two drafts of McBride. Loveland I actually had a little bit of, but kind of moved him back because I was taking too much of him. And Warren, I really don't have anything. Kraft, Laporte, I got a little bit of, but not really. I'm not taking any of the top guys. I'm not relying on these bottom guys. There's not a lot of these bottom guys to me this year that, Juwan Johnson's up to 156, but there's just not a lot of these guys. The one guy, Darnell Washington, I like him a lot. I've always liked him. But I'm not confident in him like I was in Juwan Johnson last year because Freiermuth is there and whatnot. Gunnar Helm is one of the sleeper tight ends I like a lot, but I don't know. It's just no glowing light. Like Juwan Johnson, he was a player that I knew could play. I've seen him play before. He got hurt and people forgot about him, which happens all the time in fantasy. And the Saints paid him $50 million. They wanted to get him the ball and they wanted to get him involved a lot. Or maybe not 50. It was like at least 30, $40 million. So they paid him a lot of money. So he was going to be the starter by default and you were getting him in the last pick of the draft. But point being, this year, I'm not really liking anyone that much late to where I'm going to rely on them. So where does that leave me? My sweet spot for tight end this year, the most ideal spot this year to pick tight end is rounds 8 through 12. you could pick 13, 14, throw guys like I love Kenyon Sadiq this year. I just think he's an awesome talent. I love Gadsden. I love Strange. Those guys are like round 13, 14. So you can throw them into this group as well. But starting off with really Harold Fannin, who's one of my top exposed player this year. There's a lot of drafts where I'm going 2 running backs. Through 8 rounds, I'm going 2 running backs, 5 receivers, a quarterback, and I pick Harold Fannin in round 9. That's like, a lot of my ideal drafts this year have gone that way. Kyle Pitts, I'll even throw in there as well. Atlanta paid him a lot of money. We all have our gripes, I'm sure, with Kyle Pitts costing us at some point. But he seemed to get better as the year went along for once. I mean, it looked like he finally figured it out the back half of this past year. Mark Andrews, always been a reliable tight end. Yeah, he has his faults, but, Mark Andrews at this price, I think is more than reasonable. Kincaid, Buffalo's expecting some big things with him. Ferguson's just going to be a solid bottom end tight end one for the Cowboy or for fantasy. Just a solid starting tight end, reliable, one of Dak's favorite targets. Then Isaiah Likely, actually like him a little bit, even though he really didn't do anything in Baltimore. I think a change of scenery with him was extremely necessary just because he was kind of living in the shadows of Mark Andrews his entire time there. This time he has Theo Johnson, but he could really be the guy in New York for tight end. And, Jordan Harbaugh is going to want him to be the guy because he has a relationship with him. Gadsden, I like him a lot too. Talent-wise, I think he'd be up in around 7 or around 8, but, Njoku's there, so that's why he's down below. But this group right here, from Fannin to Gadsden, I don't like Goddard or Chigo that much at all. Hunter Henry, I've never really been a big fan of. So you could throw these guys in there really up until Sadiq. So round 8 through round 14, that's where I'm grabbing my tight ends. I'm not grabbing my tight ends early because I do think you can grab guys late, but I'm not waiting to the end of the draft. Okay, so I don't know what you would dedicate that, if there is a strategy necessarily, but that's where the best spot, in my opinion, to take tight ends is that round 8 through 14, really that round 8 through 12. Grab 2 guys in that range, okay? Grab 2 guys. Any of those, maybe Fannin and one of the later guys, Fannin, Likely, or something like that. Just grab 2 of those guys, and then if you have a 3 tight end build, depending on what your draft assistant tells you to do, you can grab one of the darts, like a Gunnar Helm, with your last tight end in round 16 or something like that. Or you grab the rookie from the Eagles, or, I like Ferguson on the Rams. I think he's going to improve a little bit this year. So grab one of those guys as well for your 3rd tight end. But that's just a name filling out your roster. That's not a guy you're counting on. And yeah, this could change. I mean, we're still 2 months away from week 1. I'm about 30 drafts in, so we're not really deep into it. But just so far this year, I really haven't been waiting and punting tight end every single draft like I was last year. But I'm also not going the other way. I've never been, I've taken tight ends around 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's my sweet spot for tight ends this year. That's where I recommend you pick a tight end this year when you guys do your drafts.